Hello my crafty friends, it's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. Alright then, here's the video that most of you have been waiting for, and I'm going to share with you, like I mentioned in the previous video, the two dolls that I still have from that were a present on Christmas Eve in 1963, and I still have them. They're they're not in 100% good condition because I haven't found a local doll maker to repair some of it. And I did once inquire, but they would have looked a lot different to what I wanted, so I left them as they are. So here's just the front of the journal that I'll be sharing with you afterwards. I finished it, and it's called You and Me, and it's all about us crafters that were young girls in many moons ago, and that had our dolls, and they were precious to us. And I remember lots of tea parties with my friends and comparing dresses and outfits. It was a really fun time. All right, so here we go. I'm actually holding my camera here, so you have to excuse the wobbles. So I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit. So here is little Heidi, and to see if I can zoom out a bit more. So she's quite a big doll. She measures about 2.5 foot, and I did cut a fringe many years ago and got in trouble for it. Her hair is quite dull now. I do shampoo it once a year. And she does live in a glass cabinet, but her clothes are ready to come off and be washed. And I do that, once a year as well. So as you can see, her face is actually like rubber, and the body is plastic. And of course, the face is a different color, became a different color over the period of time. And this lovely dress my mum knitted, and yeah, she was a great knitter, and she loved always making the dolls' clothes for me, and this was one of my favourite ones that I've kept, and much more long lasting. So she's knitted gorgeous little flowers. You'll have to excuse me, I'm just going to stand up now so that you can see the little flowers. And she has little booties. Now you'll see some mangled hands here, and there's a little story to that. And she's had a mangled hands since 19 just let me think, probably 1970. We got a puppy, her first puppy here in Australia, and of course it found my doll and chewed the hands. And she's always worn mittens, but I've taken them off now. So you can still see those naughty little teeth marks just in there, poor thing. To get them repaired was quite a job, because they would have been totally different, and very expensive. And also one of the legs is loose as well. And so I've just kept it in the original condition. She's still happy to be sitting in a glass cabinet and watching everybody walk by. And here we have little Rosie. She would have been my second doll. I think I got that for my birthday. I can't remember really, but yes. Yeah, so now this one is very unusual. She does close her eyes as well, and I can't show you because I can't lay her down at the moment. And she's got lovely big eyelashes. Her face as well is like a rubbery texture, and it has really discolored as well. And again, the arms are plastic. Now, no puppy got to her, but she does have both legs that have come off, and they are taped up so that that they're connected. We don't want her hobbling around. So yes, and her hair is really beautiful. It is, it lost its shine, but when I do shampoo, it comes up nice. Again, it's a very plain little outfit my mum made for me. It's knitted, little booties. So because of my crafting now, I'm going to doll these up with really pretty laces. I'm going to hand stitch some laces on them, some pretty little buttons and big bows, and the same with here. I might put some flowers on the top here, and again with a bit of ribbon on either side. So when I've done that, I might put a video up and show you what I've done. And the same with these little booties. They're going to get little ribbons. So she's already getting tired. Just hang there, little baby. So yeah, so this is little Rosie, and she's no bigger than about 12 inches, you know, and all their arms move and all that. And yeah, so they're my favourite dolls. I do have two others, which are Barbie dolls, original Barbie dolls that my mum knitted as well, but the outfit's knitted, but I won't go into that. So I just wanted to show you my original dolls. Okay, now I'm just going to go and put this phone up where it's supposed to go so that I can continue with video. So excuse me for the wobbles. Like that, and we'll zoom back in here, zoom back in there. Sorry ladies, there we go. Okay, I think I've got to come down this way. All right, okay, all right, so I'm going to just remove these. And this is what this journal is all about. You know, I cherish my dolls, so, and I'm just having a glass of water. Oh, that's good. It's a bit warm here today, but it's not too bad. I've got the fan on. I hope you can't hear it like I did. Is that going to go that way or this way? Sorry, ladies, I'm just trying to move this so it's sort of centered. Okay, right, all right. So as you can see, it's a nice squishy grungy sort of journal. Again, I really enjoying making these styles. It's a soft cover, okay, and tied up with the one and only piece of sari silk strip that I have, and that's attached to the back cover. I'm just going to see if I can get this off, and the end has got a little pearl and a little rose just there, okay, and it's quite long. I've left it long so you can wrap it around, but that's actually stitched on the back, okay. So I'm just going to see what happens if I zoom in. Not bad. You would have seen me post on my Facebook page my little crochet little outfit. It's a little dress, French knot, a little purse with a French knot, and a little hat with a little flat back pearl. And I found this paper clip that is the shape of a hanger, and I've popped that on there, popped them both on there, and then attached it to a bulb pin. I mean, how cute is that? You just can't get it any cuter. I'm sorry for the blowness there. I must have moved too quickly. The cover itself is, I did a whole collage of various texts from magazines and books. And you've got like handwritten text, all just various. And here I've got actually a snippet of a newspaper, you know, and here's some different prints just on the bottom here. And because I found so much in this book, and I thought, well, what would happen if I cut them all out and just collaged them over each other? I used lots of PVA glue, and then I went over with my shoe polish to get those dark lines through the cut edges. And that's, I just wanted to get that effect. Now, I've made this cover about 5 months ago. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I just loved the look of it. So I decided for this journal, it would be just perfect. And And then, of course, what I did was I covered it with this little polka dot coffee dye tulle. It's actually a very bright pink, but by coffee dyeing it, it took out that bright pink. And it's sheer, so you can still see all the text. Okay. And it's wound right to the front. And, of course, on the front, I've done a fair bit of layering. Again, I've got some cheesecloth, some pretty blue lace, trying to pick up the blue from the doll. And the pinks are picking up the pinks through the picture of the girl here. This here is actually the inside. It's a bluey colour. It's the inside of an envelope, because I coffee dyed quite a few envelopes a little while ago. And I love the blue, how that comes out. And I thought, what a cool background. Peeking through here and peeking through here. And I've just left it, folding it, making it look sort of like, you know, raggedy type thing. Underneath, I've had this beautiful little tattered or crocheted, very old doily. And I had a snippet of that. And I just left a little bit of tulle dangling here. And this lovely metal heart filigree. And of course a tea bag, and on there I sewed the little label that I hand wrote, you and me, okay, because I've got a fabric pen now, so I can write a lot of my wording. I think it just gives it an extra little touch, and that's how I do my labels as well. And of course here's an array of coffee dyed fabric. This was blue and pink, and you can only just see the blue through there. Little polka dot. This was white and I coffee dyed it. And here I've got a snippet of a pink doily just here, and then another piece of the doily, the same that's on the bottom here. It has one signature, and I've sewed that in there with my sewing awl. So you'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 stitches to hold it all in place. It makes the journal a lot flatter. And I use pink crochet cotton. It's quite strong, and I just went over it with a brown ink. And also on here, I forgot to mention, I got this little locket charm just there. Okay, little rusty little locket charm on a chain, just in the background of the little dress outfit. I mean, how cute is that? I enjoyed making these. I've made quite a few of these, and of course I gifted them as well, so I only had one left, and I saw the opportunity in using it in this journal. All right, so you're all eager to venture in. Let's go and have a look. Now I've used inside, I've used a polka dot fabric. It was just the right size to cover the journal inside. And I've just put some more of, what's this? This is a piece of vellum here. And you'll see that it's just this bit of vellum here, and had a little snippet left over. Music paper, and I've just found this little cutout this book belongs to. This is an altered envelope, window envelope. And I did a little bit of collage there. Some really pale blue lace, very vintagey. Some music paper, some scrapbook paper, coffee dyed lined writing paper. This was of a folder, and it was a bluey grey colour. And once I took the paper off, because the paper was, what they call it, had the cut lines down, so you can just rip it out, and you're left with this. And it was like in a folder, and I thought, oh, I'm not throwing that away, because that, you know, you can use it as an embellishment. And then I've got this tiniest little envelope. Now there's a story to that, and you'll get a laugh out of it, why it's so tiny. So yeah, and I've just popped that on there, and you can, little bit of tatting just here, tatted trim. Open it up, and this is one of those origin letters, because they're already brown, you don't have to ink them. And open it up again, it's a flip. And this was scrapbook paper, had a butterfly, so I used that half of the butterfly on that side, and the other half of the butterfly on this side, so it looks as though she's sitting on something there. And this, of course, a Tim Holtz paper doll. So yeah, so you just like that, okay. this is paper that I printed out, and it was like a big scroll, looked like a scroll piece of paper, and I've just taken the scroll part out, and I've used that in here as well, which you'll see. And I just like the little effect on it as the front cover. And of course I did some ink blending, and again with brown and pink, just to pick up the colours right through this journal. Here's a piece of vellum. This was gifted to me by a friend of the family, and I couldn't believe it. I have 2 pieces, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I just inked the edges on this, and here I've attached the first picture. Now these pictures I got actually downloaded from Pinterest, because I just did not have anything that would complement and do make this journal, so I actually had to print it out. So yes, but I really enjoyed doing it. And then I just sewed around it and glued it onto here. Some pretty little soft tulle on the edging with a little bow. And then next page is another pretty picture with a doll and a postcard, and I just backed it with some coffee dyed paper. Again, this was printed out. Now I printed this out, all these little postcards, over 12 months ago, and it wasn't a digital kit, it was the free printables on Pinterest. And I thought, well, one day I'll use them. Well, that day never came, except now. Various papers. Now I have torn all these pages, and these pages are torn with a, I'm just going to see if I can find it. I think I've showed you once before how I do it. With a ruler, and it was a plastic ruler, one of those, you know, contractable rulers. But I wanted a plastic one so I can just cut it off with my pliers to get that serrated edge, so, or uneven broken edge, and that's how these pages are made. Okay, that's how the edges come about, just like that, all torn. So there's lots of writing space, but also filled with lots of goodies. So here we come to the story with the little envelopes. Okay, and there's 4 of them. All right. A little glassine, not a glassine bag, yeah, glassine bag I think it is. And here is the end of the scrolls that I ripped off these pages. I think I've got 2 in here. And so I made a little notepad out of it, punched a couple of holes. No, I just stitched some lace and a bow on that and made a little scrappy notepad in it. A little bit of applique, another bow. Now, I wanted to print out some letters or postcards, and I wanted 4 per page, so that because I know you get 4 nice postcard sides and an A4 page. Well, lo and behold, it printed out 2 pages with these little things, and they are, you're going to laugh, 5.5 by 3.5. So yeah, so I just didn't want to waste them, so I used them as, you can use them to write little secret little notes in there. So yeah, so that was a good laugh for the day for me. There's room there for you to put maybe your favourite photo of your doll on there. Some more pages there, so that was the second page. This is baking paper that I coffee dyed and then put through the embossing machine. A little bit of a splatter page there. This is an envelope, and I just tore that bit out because it had the pink on it, and just did a bit of a collage there. And here's one of my tags, and it's called Through the Years. And look at the pram. I mean, it's a baby's pram, but you know, we had our dolls in the prams as well. A bit of music paper, lovely vintage button with a bit of cheesecloth. This is out of a magazine, and this is a really old button here, and it's the backing is a Ferrero Rocher chocolate wrapper, hence the gold and the brown. Okay, and then I had a sheet of collage papers, and I just made a tab out of that. Backed this with some pink writing paper. So that just tucks in just on the back. And of course this is one of my painted papers that I had left, so the pink and the pale blues and some green, and it just suited this journal as well. And on the back I've put on a belly band because I've had some of this polka dot fabric left. Put on a little beautiful little applique on the bottom, just there, and then a little bow on the top. And just some, you know, just some writing paper to put in there. You can put in there whatever you like. Here's another lovely Pinterest printout. Now this is a bag that you get from the chemist, you know, when you get your scripts and you got that bag, a nice crinkly sound. I collaged over it with writing book dictionary paper on that side, and on this side, on the outside, it was music paper. And of course that beautiful print that I printed out with her holding the doll there. And I did do a really fussy cutting out because I wanted to make it look as though the chair, you can see the notes through it. It's not just, you know, the same paper on the back, in the background. And just pop the little bow just on there to see if I can bring that up for you a bit. Just there. See, I've cut that all out with my knife, just in here, and just the back of the chair here. And of course inside is another tag, and there's the doll in the pram. And look at the pram in those days, little umbrella. She's outside the gate waiting to go probably to a little tea party. And just a little cluster there with a tulle and a bow and coffee dyed paper, and it's stitched around, and that just lives in here. So what I did was, because you could see the chemist writing on the inside, I lined this with some music paper. And then on the outside, of course, I did the decoupage with, not decoupaged, I did the collage of dictionary paper. This is a beautiful doily, about that size, and I made it into an envelope, and I put a little fabric cluster on here as well. And Precious, made my own little labels just there, Precious. And of course inside is the tiniest little notebook. Okay, and the cover is made from the little mini playing card. So I'll give you the measurements. It's 2 and 3, nearly 2, just over 2.5 centimeters, and about 3 3/4 long. And I've got this tiny little photo, and this tiny little photo, a little piece of a snippet of the tattered lace. Inside I've kept as is, so you can see it's a plain card, a little bit of stamping inside, and it had the little leftover pieces of paper, and this is just machine stitched in. Okay, and that's a bit of the pink fabric that I put right around, and then I put, and then I put that little picture on top. Sorry ladies, just there. And that just lives in here like that. Okay. This was just some scrapbook paper that was gifted to me. This was a book page, and it still had some sticky tape on it, and that's the discoloration just there. And when I did these pages, they were coffee dyed, but also what I did then, I just went with my brush and pink food dye and just splattered on it, and that's how come you can see the pink through there. Next page, this is a tuck spot, lovely old pram. They look as though they weigh a ton there. Fussy cut, little snippet of a trim, a little bow, and I've got a tea bag behind there, and then just pop that on there. And I'd forgotten to cut this out, but I thought, well, maybe not, because the handle of this is quite thin, so I might have had a bit of trouble, you know, cutting that out to get it nice and even, so I've left it the way it is. And this was an envelope, long narrow envelope, and I cut it in half and made a little bag out of it, and I popped in another picture. I mean, look at the size of the doll. She's nearly the size of a little girl. No wonder she's smiling. I've got a big sister. Lovely pink trim. And inside I've made this cute little booklet. And the cover's made from an index card. And I just, I think I put a pamphlet stitch in here. Yes, I did. I put a 3-stitch pamphlet stitch in here and just scrappy little papers. Okay, little tuck spot, little ticket, couple of tickets, and another one of them huge postcards. I just still can't believe it. Unbelievable. And check out that pram on there. Sorry, I might have to go out a little bit. Just like that. Okay. So yes, and this is a tea bag and some of the fabric, and again the doll in the pram. And I got this out of a magazine, Nostalgia, and that just wraps around. Did I do it the other way? It's around like this, and then you can just tie it up whichever way you like, just like that, and that can go back in the bag, back in the tuck spot. Another tuck spot. Love all these old prams. I mean, they're not dolls' prams, but you know, the doll and the pram go together. So yeah, but look at this. Isn't this so super gorgeous? I think this might be a high society pram. I should have written down the date of this, the era of that. I might do that next time. And I just backed it with some line. This is actually, no, this is actually a index card. Yes, and just some tulle and some lace trim as a bow. And here they're having a girls having a, going to the shop or having a, aren't they gorgeous? They each have a doll, they're twins. Had this scrapbook paper, and it was sort of like dotty like this one. I thought, oh yes. Here's one of my paper ruffles, and I've still got some of this colour left. And because I used this lined paper, it had the blue on it. I thought, how cool was that? But look at this picture here. The doll with a pram. Oh, it's the same one that I used previously. Sorry, that's right. Here's a Sudoku. Okay. And then we come to here. Now, I found this little bow paper clip, and I just didn't know where to put it, so I've just popped it on here. You can use it wherever you like. And here's another of the envelope, altered envelope, and a little story about pram, not carried but pushed. So yeah, it must have been when they were, doesn't have a date, driving license required. Looks like a 4-wheel drive pram, doesn't it? Oh dear. Anyway, so that's that. And then we just go back in here, and I'll just pop that on here. If I can. Oh, wrong way. I'll put that in later. And of course, the postcard saga carries on. Why, you say? Because when I printed out another lot, they came, they came out even smaller. Do we want to know how much? 2 centimetres by 1.5 centimetres. So there you go. Like I always say, some mothers do have them. And, you know, I've made a little envelope to store them in. A little fabric cluster just there. This was a beautiful magazine paper that represented cross-stitch patterns, and it was really, really beautiful, and I thought I might use that for the centre of the signature. And I've done put some beads on the end of this, pink and blues, and just a little doily, daisy doily there. Okay, so as you can see, because it's sewn with the awl, the journal stays nice and flat. Here I've got a little door, book page, and I used a trim Just beautiful trim that I coffee dyed because it was bright pink. And you open it up, and this was put through the embosser, and I just inked it to bring out the pattern. It's there. And I made a little pocket just there, chapter 5, come out of a book. Don't know what chapter 5 is, but anyway, it might be this one. Does she look happy or what? I don't know. I had some scrapbook paper, and I accidentally, as always, printed on scrapbook paper instead of a plain paper. But anyway, so the postcard saga goes on, doesn't it? So yeah, so at least you can write on this, but I didn't want to waste it, and I didn't want to put coffee dyed paper on this, so I left it. And then when I put her on and I sort of cut it off, I thought, oh, a little bit of red, a bit of blue, a bit of yellow won't hurt. Had a bit of the vellum paper left, and then I just put some little daisies with a little bit of bling on top of that, and I think it just suits it quite nicely. And the closure is very, very simple. I've made a loop and a little knot, and it just goes just like there. And just bear with me, I'll be back in a tick. Oh, back again, thank you. All right, sorry about that. All right, so yes, and then I've done a little cutout of one of the pictures that I printed out, piggybacking her doll. Must have been a big doll. And this is a envelope, okay? And I just coffee dyed it, put a bit of trim on the edge here, open her up. And I made this into a flip so that you can write on both sides. And inside the envelope, I had some writing paper left, and a big sheet, and I just cut it in half so that you've got pages to write on, and popped on this pretty little picture here with one of my paper ruffles. Goes in quite easy like that, and did another paper ruffle there with a little pink daisy, and the paper looked pretty. Here we go, I've got the Sudoku, and I've actually glued and done another flip. And it goes like this, and you can journal on this. Isn't she gorgeous? She's got her in a little cane chair. She's got a doll in a cane chair. Just love these papers. They just, and they feel really cool. Now, I've got some playing cards here, and I made some, even with that little booklet that I made with a little playing card. That was part of the set, but I wanted to sort of mix it in with this journal. So I've made a little pocket out of baking paper, and then the front is with a tulle. And here's one of the playing cards, which is the larger size. And I had some, this is a tea bag, and then I just stamped number 9 on it. Did a bit of stamping here and a bit of stamping here, and it's a little tuck spot, and that's where that little tiny little book was, but it made it just too thick for in here. So I've just used a piece of scrap of index card that I had left, and that you can journal on, and just a little embellishment on the front. And then on the back, a little bit of corrugated cardboard, a couple of buttons, some fabric, and on here you've got another little tiny little pram. Sorry, I hope it zooms in. Are we zooming in? There we go. And it's just a little fold out, so you can put a little note, secret little note in there, and that just goes back in there. And here I've made a tag with the smaller normal size playing card, and the playing card had these flowers with the ace and with the A in the middle, and I just wanted to see a little bit of that green in the flower, so I did a bit more stamping there, a little bit of music paper, and a bit of the tatting left, a little bow, and that's the back of it. And this is the blue inside of a envelope that was coffee dyed, which I also used for the cover front picture underneath that I mentioned earlier. Here's my bookmark, okay, or your bookmark. I had a calendar, and it had all these beautiful Victorian kids on there with their prams and their dolls, so I cut her out, and I've glued it onto craft paper so you can journal on it and just put a nice big bow on the hat, nice and flowing, and that way you will see her when you put it in the mark your spot. Bit of vellum, another ruffle. Here's the other side of the chemist paper bag.